Welcome to Saturday Night Football, presented by Windows. You are looking live at Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee, Florida. The bright lights of prime time shine on a big-time ACC matchup. Number 4, Florida State hosts number 10, Clemson. And the winner, folks, takes dead aim at a possible national championship. Buckle up, everybody. The Saturday night roller coaster is leaving the station. Good evening, everybody. With Kirk Herbstreit, I'm Brett Musburg. You know, Kirk, there's something known as fool's gold. Looks real shiny, real good. But you go into the appraiser, and he says not worth much. So why should everybody believe in Florida State this time around?
Well, I think that this is a legitimate top 5 team this year. And I think the big reason I looked at this team on paper was because they have more depth, they have more speed. Jimbo Fisher and his staff have done a really good job of recruiting. A veteran quarterback now in E.J. Manuel. Now, we'll see, because this is by far the toughest test, not only that they've seen up to this point, maybe the toughest test that they'll face all year.
And Kirk, when everybody looks at the Clemson lineup, all they see are speedy weapons. And how about the quarterback, Taj Boyd?
Well, Taj Boyd is in his second year running this system for Chad Morris. It's kind of a Gus Malzahn type of offense. It's a hurry-up tempo offense. They're going to run outside with Sammy Watkins. They're going to run up the middle with Andre Ellington. They're going to take some shots downfield. It's going to be a heck of a matchup with that Clemson offense against the Florida State defense.
The defense. Another Stoops is the orchestrator for Jimbo Fisher. Mark Stoops, what about this defensive unit?
Well, I think for Florida State to be able to get this crowd into the game and be able to really get after Clemson, the battle in the trenches with Florida State's defensive line, where there appears to be a clear advantage. Can they get after Taj Boyd? Can they affect his rhythm and timing with his receivers? Can they stop the running game of Andre Ellington? That'll be the matchup to watch, the Florida State defensive line against that offensive line from Clemson. Then we can talk about the skill after we watch that battle.
Are you surprised the Noles are a strong 2-touchdown favorite?
A little bit. I think we're going to see a lot of speed on this field tonight.
All right, settle in, everybody. Should be a good one. Florida State and Clemson. So the Clemson high-powered offense will handle it. Dustin Hopkins with the ball on the tee will kick it away from the Noles. And yes, Sammy Watkins is one of the deep backs. He'll take it. And a knee. And Herbie, let's take a look at tonight's impact players for Clemson. Brought to you by Avis.
Well, they have a lot of them. Taj Boyd is the trigger man. Second year, as we said, so he has a better understanding, making quicker decisions. He'll have to run the ball tonight. Andre Ellington gives him power in the middle. Sammy Watkins, you'll see him on the jet sweep. A lot of perimeter running and catching the ball. And DeAndre Hopkins, number 6. Vitally important to take some of the pressure off of Boyd and off of Watkins. He's got to make plays against Xavier Rhodes for Florida State.
Folks expect a lot of motion, a lot of seeing Watkins change positions, a lot of slot formations on the part of Clemson. Chad Morris will change it up all night long. Play action on the first play of the game. And a completion out of the backfield. Sam Cooper, the backup tight end. Now remember, Dwayne Allen was a star for Clemson a year ago. He's now playing with the Indianapolis Colts. And Sam Cooper and Brandon Ford will be the tight ends. A different looking formation now on 2nd and 3. There's the jet sweep. Taj keeps it, picks up the first down.
The different looks that you see from Chad Morris creates hesitation. The motions, the tight ends moving around. That time you saw Sammy Watkins in motion. The linebackers, it creates hesitation, and then you got to deal with a power running game from Ellington like that. They really put a lot of stress on the linebackers and safeties of defenses.
Now they move a wide receiver in the backfield. And they've used the end around, reverse motion with Ellington. He crosses the 40-yard line. Here they are, keeping Mark Stoops off balance, Herbie, just as you said, with a variety of formations.
It's the formations, it's the personnel groupings. Ellington is checking out of the game. They've got 5 receivers now in the game. It's a lot of different looks, a lot of window dressing. It's slowing down the fast Florida State defense by making them have to think.
They stack 3 wide to the left, but Taj throws underneath to Hopkins, and the Noles were ready. They jumped that beautifully, and Xavier Rhodes, a fine corner, makes the stop.
Interesting that Clemson won the toss and elected to receive the ball, and now you can see why. This up-tempo offense, what they're trying to do is take away the aggression from Florida State and get them on their heels with the tempo.
3rd down and 7, the pistol look that they studied at Nevada. Deep down the middle. Goes for the home run. Hopkins has got it. Touchdown, Clemson. A 60-yard bomb. Dabo Swinney says, give us the football, and it pays off, Herbie.
Well, we just talked very fast about a lot of things that can happen to you. We're trying to keep up here, Brent. The Florida State defense is trying to keep up down there. You can simulate this look of this offense all week long, but until you see it, you don't understand the tempo and the speed in which they execute. If you're a Clemson fan, that's exactly what you wanted to see and the way you wanted to start this football game.
Timeout is called. They did not have 11 men on the field. Coach Swinney is livid. They burn a timeout. Inexcusable for your extra point team as Hopkins, the star who took it in. You know, we talk a lot about Sammy Watkins, but I'm telling you, Herbie, number 6 is lethal.
I am with you, and it's back here in the back end. The safety actually hesitated. And again, if you don't have your eyes disciplined on your reads, this time Terrence Brooks, the safety, actually got caught up in looking in the backfield and looking at the other receiver. I don't know if he's anticipating help, but he was slow to react to Hopkins getting behind him. And do not underestimate the arm strength of Taj Boyd. He puts it right behind Terrence Brooks, who gives up the touchdown there.
So now 11 men on the field for the Tigers. Chandler, Catanzaro tacks on the extra point. If you just joined us, we're underway, and we expect a lot of this tonight. Speed kills. Clemson leads. These two teams, they can wage some great football.
Oh, no doubt.
It'll be the Knowles' turn coming out. And coming out is Joyner, LaMarcus Joyner, looking for a crease. There's a penalty. A penalty flag is thrown. Joyner got out to the 35. There may have been an illegal block, so hang on.
Yeah, it's on Florida State.
During the return, holding 34 of the receiving team. 10 yards to the spot of the foul. First down.
Be interesting to see how EJ Manuel and the Knowles respond to what Clemson just did. I mean, 5 plays, they went right down the field, put points up on the board. Manuel's a veteran guy, 6'5", 240 pounds, has a big arm. He needs to take that next step in his maturation, and he needs to be able to lead the Knowles to a victory.
They're going to open with 3 wide tonight, and the 1 running back. Lonnie Pryor is not on the field for the first play. That's O'Leary, the tight end, looking like an H-back. And Manuel's going to put it up on first down. Complete for a big first down. Rodney Smith. And Rodney Smith has now caught a ball in 29 consecutive games. That for 19 yards.
This is a simple read for E.J. Manuel, getting the ball out of his hands fast. And this Clemson defense with a new defensive coordinator, Brent Venables, over from Oklahoma. They've not gotten off to a fast start in 2012. I think their confidence is a bit rattled. We'll see how they play here early in this game.
Now Pryor checks in on this first down. He'll lead the way for Chris Thompson. Watch the fullback. He'll take it to the action. And Thompson to the 40. Kirby, here are the impact players sponsored by Avis for the Knowles.
Talked about Manuel, great leader, ready to take that next step. This is a big opportunity for him. Chris Thompson, a huge game last week with 197 yards against Wake Forest. Great acceleration. Rashawn Green is on the outside. He's your game breaker. And, of course, Warner has got to do a good job of getting pressure on Taj Boyd.
On second down, play action. Manuel drops it off to O'Leary for the first down. 45-yard line, and it's first down the Knowles.
This is a great call. This is the challenge for Clemson tonight. Florida State wants to run the ball with Jimbo Fisher. And so you're thinking about the running the football, and all of a sudden you've got play action. You got a lot of movement by this defense over here. Makes it easy for the fullback just to slide out and just dump it right over top of the defense. It's a balanced attack this year from Jimbo Fisher. They can run the ball. They got a big offensive line, great backs, but you got to be careful of overcommitting because they can hit you on play action.
Now 2 backs in. Pryor again. This is his first carry. And to the 40-yard line, and Travis Blanks making the stop for the Tigers. The big question about the Tigers will be the defense up front. Brent Venables, their new coordinator. Remember, he coordinated Oklahoma's big win in here a year ago, but he's working with very young personnel. And right now we see the Noles, they're gouging them.
Their own version of the hurry up where, you know, they're not necessarily huddling, but they're not necessarily in that up-tempo style.
Manuel, and he is a fine runner. He'll show some option too before the night's over. Here he is coming around behind Thompson, keeping it all the way. 30, 25, 20, 15, and out of bounds, far side. He is so dangerous on the move.
Well, 6'5", 240 pounds, and as you just said, Brent, prior to this play, he is a dangerous threat. Watch the seal block on the outside. O'Leary, who just made a nice catch. Now he's blocking. Thompson's out front. He's helping out. Also, Rodney Smith doing a good job. And when you get receivers blocking downfield, it helps out. Love to see Chris Thompson getting involved, not just running the football, but being willing to block there for his quarterback. That's a big gain for this Noles offense.
28 yards total. Now there's 3 wide. Rashad Green. And the receivers for the Noles have got size. If they can get into some jump ball situations, they're going to burn a timeout. There was a little confusion with personnel for Florida State. Emmanuel came up and checked the D and decided, let me burn one right here. This is important territory.
It's a little different than the games you and I watched on the bus this afternoon. We got more action in these first 2 drives than most of the games we watched today.
Don't give it away that we were watching the Midwest. We were checking out a couple of Big Ten teams.
Yeah, we sure were. A lot of speed on this field.
Well, here's our 2 quarterbacks, Herbie, and you and I have been talking about them all week and watching Manuel in practice the other day.
What a great competitor. Jimbo Fisher telling us this week that the greatest thing he has done is really committed himself in the offseason. Taj Boyd did the same thing. Just trying to, again, you got experience. Now you want to take the next step. Be the leader. Understand the offense. Make the checks at the line of scrimmage. Taj could not have gotten off to a better start than what he did there on that first drive.
Lonnie Pryor is going to come in from the sideline along with Nick O'Leary. So they will have the tight end / H-back and a fullback. Thompson will stay in as the running back, and they'll operate this out of the gun here on first down from the Clemson 13. Tigers showed a little bit of pressure. The safety was pressing in the box. They're going to try to blitz the run, and it's Pryor again. Touchdown, Florida State. The senior from Okeechobee, Florida, who is all football player, bangs it in from the 13. They have talked about Oregon and Arizona scoring into the early morning. Hang on, everybody. We may outscore that game. Dustin Hopkins, underwent knee surgery in the spring, fine now, nails it. We are deadlocked at 7 as we continue Dr. Pepper's road to the championship. Hopkins fielded by Watkins as he comes up, and he's out to the 22.
Hey, you go back. I want you to watch the quarterback here, E.J. Manuel. That's what I'm talking about. He recognizes the safety, extra run support. So he's going to see he's moving the play over to the left, a stretch play to the left. What I think this play has become the bread and butter for this Florida State team. You can see the stretch here, the nice block here on the linebacker, and it gives them a nice flyer, a nice seam to be able to cut inside there. Patience is key from a running back. That play takes time. Once you see it, you got to hit it in a hurry. And Pryor's a fullback. He did a really nice job there, waiting and then hitting it hard.
So they move Watkins back into that pistol formation, show the jet sweep, and then bang with power behind the middle of the offensive line. There are some questions about the Clemson offensive line. They do not have a lot of returning starters. The ace is number 55. That's Dalton Freeman. He was all ACC first team. Now over at left tackle is Brandon Thomas, a redshirt junior. He started 9 games at left guard last year, so keep an eye on the biggins. Play action. Safety valve incomplete. Hopkins was coming around, and Taj Boyd had to check it down as we take a look at the offensive line. Now over on the right side, Herbie, Gifford Timothy able to return at right tackle.
I think number 70, Timothy, is the biggest concern in pass protection when you get to third down. The right tackle going up against the speed of this Florida State defensive line, especially Bjorn Werner, who's up against him right here.
Remember now, Shaq Anthony has been in that spot until tonight. Third down, Taj Boyd. Protection hold, sideline, and a beautiful leaping catch by Sammy Watkins.
We're talking about pass protection. They actually kept a tight end that time to help out on that right side. If you give Taj Boyd time to throw, he's going to find somebody downfield. Watkins makes the play, and this is the concern. Here comes the tempo for Florida State.
That's Brandon Ford with the H-back. Ellington is the running back, and Taj Boyd pulls it out. Look for the quick screen. Threw it back to the speed man, and Ellington on the far side. Ellington across the 30-yard line before he's pushed out by Joyner. A beautiful look by Taj Boyd that time.
Brent, this is not a screen. The entire offensive line. Watch the line, how they just wait. See him just sitting there? It almost looks like, oh, what's the snap count? They're just deking the defense, and then eventually they get him out of position, and when you give Ellington just a little crease, he can go a long way.
First down and 10, the ball at the 25-yard line after Watkins' first catch of the year. Play action, Taj Boyd on the move. Remember, he's 15 pounds lighter this year. When he's on the move, a step quicker, McAllister brought him down.
Now that's the difference right now with Taj Boyd is he's not forcing the throws. Last year he might have forced this. This year he is more elusive, but he's also just more mature. He's more disciplined with the football. He understands, hey, listen, I'll get us to second 8 or second 9 instead of trying to throw into coverage and not have a chance to make a play.
Watkins in motion. Swings around in the jet sweep, but he's short of the first down.
Little touch pass there from Taj Boyd. The jet sweep makes the defense have to really respect the outside, the perimeter game. The quick passes, the jet sweeps, and when you get too concerned about that, you get the power running from Ellington and the play action deep ball. There's a lot to deal with and digest for this Florida State defense.
Watkins is now toward the bottom of your screen in this formation. They continue to move him around. Taj keep all the way. He's short of that first down. Decision time for Clemson. Fourth down coming up. Do they try to attack the field goal? But knowing it's a high-scoring game and they've got just that for the first down. Let's see what Dabo decides.
Yeah, he didn't hesitate. Bringing the kicker out. Great play, by the way, that time by 97 McAllister to get off his block and get into the face that time of Taj Boyd.
So now the defense over on that Clemson side knows it's got to buckle up. At the very best, they'll have a 3-point advantage after this 33-yard attempt. It's a fake. They quickly set up the fake, got the first down. Whoa, now,
yeah,
where have we seen a fake kick in this series?
This spot will be interesting. It looks like the first down. It is, yeah.
So here we come.
Hey, Florida State
Dabo
had
that in his hip pocket. He did that,
and he didn't hesitate on purpose.
And that's
like, get him out. And that's usually a sign. Yeah,
absolutely.
And Florida State was ready for it. Carradine made a good effort there. You see the safety. I mean, they were expecting it. Brooks 31's ready.
It's close.
Really is.
It's real close.
Might take another peek at this just because it's such a big play. This is even a better angle.
They shovel it in on the inside on that fake to Darrell Smith. Darrell Smith is one of the Tigers' fullbacks. He's a junior out of Gadsden, Alabama, so he does pick it up. But now Taj Boyd goes up under center, and now did they challenge this?
Jimbo was going crazy with the official trying to get his attention.
Remember, he has one challenge.
The head coach wants to challenge the ruling on the field of a first down.
That's an early time to use this now.
Yeah, that's what he's like, let's go now.
He said, I want to challenge. You could read his lips.
So It's so hard to be able to look at this, Brent.
This is very close now.
It is.
On this replay, I wasn't convinced. So instant replay, we'll take the look. Tom Zamorsky is our referee, ACC. Frank Kosman is upstairs, the technical man, and he thinks it's important to try to get the ball right here.
Well,
deadlocked at 7, and you can't blame him, but at the same token, you might want to have that in your hip pocket. I don't know.
Well, it's just such a, even though it's early, there's just so much going on here.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
Yeah,
First down.
Gamble.
It's hard. It's hard to be able to turn the spot over.
Exactly.
They always typically going to stick with the call down in the field.
So now a fresh set of downs. Sellout crowd still trying to help this ACC crew.
And Sammy
There's
Watkins,
that pistol looking.
right
Where's Sammy, Herbie?
Right here, out to the outside. Coming in motion.
Here he comes, straight up the middle. A burst coming toward the 5-yard line on 1st and 10. Remember, the first time he touched the ball as a running back last week, he went 58 yards for a touchdown.
Didn't you find it interesting? Chad Morris said, you know, we studied Oklahoma State this offseason and looked at how did they use Justin Blackman. Chad Morris felt it with Sammy Watkins, we want to move him around. A receiver, he's in motion, he's in the backfield. Different ways to be able to take advantage of his skill set.
Coming back with him. And this is Ellington reaching for the touchdown. Got it. 2 touchdowns for the Tigers.
Well, the matchup we wanted to see about this Clemson offensive line against Florida State's defensive line, because of the way Taj Boyd is helping this team out with the balanced attack and the effort there by Ellington. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns for the Clemson offense.
And you have to say, folks, on those last 2 runs, that inexperienced offensive line is holding up for Coach Sweeney.
The ruling on the field of a touchdown is under further review.
Now, that's not a challenge. Of course, every play can be reviewed. And so the technicians upstairs want to take a look to make sure that the ball broke the plane before the knee went down. You be the official.
He's in right there. It's over. It's a touchdown. Andre Ellington, with all the attention to Sammy Watkins, 2 players on this offense that don't get the attention they deserve. Andre Ellington gives them the power and the presence in the inside, and DeAndre Hopkins on the outside.
Review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
A lot of firepower on this offense.
Catanzaro on for the extra point. He, of course, was set up for the field goal. And remember, it was the fake field goal. The first down by Darrell Smith, and it was close. 2 running plays behind that offensive line, and the Tigers now lead at 14-7. So Andre Ellington leads the ACC in rushing, averaging better than 100 yards a game. And after Watkins ran it for the first play, Ellington took it to the house. Well, 1 minute still remaining in the first quarter. It'll be 4th and 23 for your punter. Herbie, does anything surprise you? Now, we kind of expected an explosive game, but anything stand out that would surprise you right now?
The thing that I've been really impressed with is the fact that Clemson won the toss. They wanted the football, and they went right down the field. 5 plays, put a touchdown up on the board, and I think it got themselves to believe that they can win this game, and it really quieted this crowd, and it's been a game that they've been able to manage since then. The adjustments are going to be the difference in this game. Now everybody knows what the plays and the formations. Now you see it. Now who does a better job in the chess match will be the difference ultimately in this game.
So now Benton back to punt. Short and high. Let's see what Green does. Fair catch signal. And he makes the catch about the 25-yard line, and that's where E.J. Manuel from Virginia Beach will put it in play. Okay, Herbie, do you know what the E.J. stands for?
No, I do not.
Okay?
What do
you know why there's no periods in that? He's Eric Jr., but his dad didn't want him to be known as Junior, so he said, let's just make it E.J.
Like it.
Okay? That's
I like
why
that.
it is.
Okay. I'm glad that wasn't the Aflac.
No, the Affleck's much tougher tonight.
It's tougher than that. Okay.
First down now for E.J. He sends everybody out. Offensive line does a good job, and he comes back with O'Leary working underneath. So he's got something going with Nick O'Leary here tonight.
He does, and I think they're being able to try to get after the linebackers, between the linebackers and the safeties, when Clemson is sitting back in zone. What I've been a little bit surprised at, now Florida State's a balanced team. They want to run the ball. It's Jimbo Fisher. I mean, think about Nick Saban's mentality. They want to run the ball first, make you commit to stop the run, and then they want to throw the ball. Tonight, they've been a little bit more shotgun, looking for matchups to be able to throw the ball.
They're going to run Thompson. Quick cutback, look out! He's got great speed. And he's finally taken out of bounds by Jonathan Meeks. He was the last man who could have stopped him.
Brett, watch this stutter step. I'm not comparing him to Reggie Bush, but the way he accelerates with his jump cuts, like a LaMichael James type of guy. Boom, 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 right there. I mean, you don't see most backs with the ability to bounce like that and then accelerate in the middle of the process of the cut.
He went for 74 and 80-yard touchdowns last week. Penalty flags, false start on the Noles. This time he goes 41
52
yards.
of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
You know, you mentioned it. You said, and Chris Thompson exploded for 197 yards.
Yeah.
We should point out to something. That was the first half. Okay? Oh, by the way, he didn't have to mop up in that 52-0 win.
Isn't it great, his story, and we'll talk about it
it's wonderful.
throughout tonight.
Broke his back.
Broke his back against Wake Forest and comes all the way back. Some people didn't think he'd ever play football again, and now he's the featured back again his senior year.
So here we go. First down. They need 15, remember, after that penalty. Ride Thompson, E.J. back, come middle, O'Leary to the 5-yard line. That'll bring a smile to the Golden Bear.
Look at the action in the backfield here, Brent. They see the guard, Matthias, pulling. You see the back. There's a lot of action in the background. So the linebackers see this movement. They step up. Nice job of waiting to find the window. He had to get the ball thrown over top of Willard, who didn't quite commit to the play-action fake, but a lot of movement in front of the linebackers froze them long enough to hit that play.
O'Leary played at Dwyer High School.
Charge timeout, Florida State.
That's their last.
30-second timeout.
That's their third timeout. Remember, he burned one on the challenge. So there are no timeouts remaining here in the first half for the Noles. That gets a little tricky if you're scrambling late for a field goal. Here we go now.
Here we come. We're back
First
again.
down and goal. Pryor is there. And James Wilder, the big back, is behind Pryor. Pryor leads the way. Wilder steps to the right. Wilder, touchdown. James Wilder. If you follow number 24, folks, he'll take you to the action for the Noles. What a dandy fullback.
And what's great about Pryor's blocking, he's a former running back. He's a selfless guy, and you're right. He's a guy typically is going to lead you to where the ball is, and I love to see Wilder get in there. A lot of depth in the backfield. Thompson, Freeman, this time Wilder, and a good job up front by the line getting a good push.
Now it's Dustin Hopkins for the tie. Chris Revel will put it down. He is the holder from right here in Tallahassee. Nails it. Deadlocked. Great push. Even O'Leary contributed a seal block. We're deadlocked. Watkins. And he's really dangerous if he gets a seam. Not this time. Great coverage. Taj Boyd, remember, Clemson punted after their last offensive surge failed. They've come back with a power running game behind the middle of that line. Freeman, Beasley, Shatley.
I'd love to get the pulse right now on Taj Boyd. I've been so impressed with his leadership skills tonight. Remember, second year running this offense. Mark Stoops making adjustments, doing everything he can to slow Boyd down.
2nd down and 7. And Hopkins, who caught the first touchdown pass of the game.
It's a timing route, gets the ball out of his hands. Just any way they can try to get Hopkins matched up one-on-one, they want to try to take advantage of it. See the jam there by Rhodes. He gets off of it, which is impressive. Rhodes is a big corner, 6'2", about 215 pounds.
They ride the running back Watkins again to the 31-yard line. You know, you think across the way to Chad Morris, who was the offensive coordinator. And he was a legendary high school coach back in Texas outside of Austin. And because he was a head coach in high school, he just prefers to be down on the field. And somebody, Herbie, as you know, with that much offense, normally
There's
it's up
2
with the
fouls
boot.
on the play. 13 of the defense was offsides. 70 of the offense was holding. Those penalties offset will repeat first down.
That's Gifford Timothy was holding on that play. And Ronald Darby, an outstanding freshman defensive back, guilty on the other side.
Just an amazing story to have Chad Morris down there. You're right. More often than not, these masterminds, a lot of times you see upstairs. But remember, he's a Gus Malzahn disciple, and Gus is downstairs as well when he calls his plays.
1st down and 10. Taj stands tall, goes sideline, and it is complete. And that's Hopkins again, short of the 1st down.
Darby, the true freshman from the Maryland area, who they think can be a big-time corner, is just a young player. As the season goes on, he gets more experience. They think he can be a big factor for this defense, but he's matched up that time with Hopkins.
Mark Stoops goes to a little run support defense now. 2nd down and 2. Ellington, the defense holds. Stuffed him. So Stoops makes the correct guesstimate on the sideline that Clemson was going to come with a run in that situation, and they did.
He's gambling here a bit because he's got some young personnel that he believes in. And Chad Morris, I'm sure eventually is going to see if he can get the young freshman who's talented in Darby matched up one-on-one for a potential double move and a deep ball. They're eventually going to go that way and try to take advantage of that.
So the officials sorting things out.
But the only thing that could slow Clemson's
Got
offense
the 1st down.
It's just the chain
I thought he
game
was
coming
inches
out.
short. Taj Boyd checks over to the sideline for the signal. Dabo Sweeney and Jimbo Fisher traded touchdowns last year at Clemson, but the Tigers were able to score the most, and they won it, I believe it was 35-30 in Death Valley. Here we are tied at 14. 1st down and 10. Taj Boyd keeps it himself. Got a couple of yards, and there's a player who is down. That's Warner with the helmet coming off. He's got to come out for a play, remember, unless there was somebody who illegally yanked it off. So Warner will come to the sideline.
He actually made the play there. A big lineman came down on top of him after he stuffed that play at the line of scrimmage, but it was not illegal.
He's a wonderful story, too, from Germany. There's a deep ball overthrew. Watkins and the quarterback not on the same page that time, and it'll be 3rd down.
And that's something that Sammy Watkins, back for just his 2nd game, still kind of working some of the kinks out, being back and being a part of the offense. You can see he kind of shrugged his shoulders and looked back at Taj Boyd. But in that case, Taj may have just been throwing that ball away just because he didn't have anybody open.
So it is 3rd and 10. Boyd in trouble, scrambles out of it on the move, and he had to throw that one away. So twice in a row now, Clemson forced to punt. after scoring touchdowns on their first 2 possessions.
Well, give Mark Stoops a lot of credit here with these adjustments. This is a coverage sack confusion. They brought a zone pressure. They're sitting back conservative with their zone look, but they've got everybody checked down. There's nowhere to go with the football. And up front, I think the offensive line that time did the best they could to hold up, but eventually Boyd had to bail because of the coverage by Stoops' group.
Rashad Green back deep again. Benton is your punter. Knowles set a return. Fair catch is the signal. Dropped it. Clemson, I believe, jumped on it. We'll sort it all out when we take another look, but I believe he put it on the ground after signaling for the fair catch. And there's our first turnover.
There was a lot of activity going on in front of him. And I think enough of a distraction where he wasn't able to focus on the ball. You could see down by his legs, but that is not illegal. He lost his focus because of everything that was happening in front of him. And Green simply dropped the ball after calling the fair catch.
And Herbie, the snapper, recovered it. That was Philip Fagenbaum, a junior from Raleigh, North Carolina, who got down. Remember, it is legal, unlike the NFL where you've got the 2 gunners. Everybody can come downfield, and frequently in college football, your center can be lethal on punt coverage. So now Taj Boyd on first down, in trouble, tries to slip back the other way, breaks a tackle. Here he comes to the left. Wow, did he make the most out of that? What a great job by the quarterback.
235 pounds a year ago, about 218 pounds this year. The weight that he lost definitely has allowed him to be more elusive, and instead of being sacked for a 5-yard loss, he picks up 4 or 5 yards. Great play.
Ready to go again. Watkins is to his left. Ellington runs in that direction. Ellington trying to reach for the first down. Let's see where they spot that ball here on the near side. Remember, that was just a second down.
But to bounce that to the outside against this Florida State speed, you cannot allow penetration in through the interior, the offensive line. Clemson holding up very well with their guards, their 2 guards and their center, giving Ellington and the lead blocker enough room to get around to the outside.
So we have a player who is shaken up. That is Xavier Rhodes is down, and of course that will stop the play before it begins with an injured player down in this situation. It's going to be a 3rd and 1. Clemson's personnel included the fullback Darrell Smith, who had trotted onto the field.
Remember, Greg Reed removed from the team. He and Xavier Rhodes could have been the best tandem coming into this year. You take Rhodes out, we'll see how long he's out. Now you've got a true freshman in Darby, along with Nick Waysome right now lined up at corner against all that speed from Clemson.
Now they change personnel and formation again. Here comes Watkins on the jet sweep. Taj keeps it for the first down. So the jet sweep, just as you said earlier in the broadcast, that freezes your linebackers just a touch in case they're going to sweep with him.
Well, you have to respect a guy like Sammy Watkins going in motion on that jet sweep, because what if they hand it off to him? So you instinctively react and start to move to the defense's left, and now you got a quarterback who's a threat running. So between Boyd running and Ellington running in the middle, it's quite a tandem to deal with.
Ball at the Knowles 17. Taj Boyd fires complete. Touchdown, Brandon Ford, the graduate student from Wando, South Carolina, who has replaced the John Mackey Award winner with a 17-yard scoring strike from Taj Boyd.
I think there's confusion on that play in the secondary for Florida State. It was a wheel route, a lot of attention being paid to Sammy Watkins, not as much being paid to Brandon Ford. You could see the frustration after the play there. By that time, Rhodes.
Spencer Benton, the holder. Cannizzaro tacks it up. So our first turnover. Remember, Green coughed up a fair catch on a punt, and Clemson strikes for the go-ahead touchdown. With Kirk Herbstreit, Heather Cox, I'm Brent Musburger. Should be a dandy of a second half here, Herbie. What's you feeling?
This is really what it's all about. I mean, Clemson and Florida State both have ACC championship aspirations. Both are trying to get to a BCS bowl game, maybe a national championship, get a second half. Coaches just made adjustments. Both defensive coordinators trying to figure out a way to slow these offenses down. It's going to be fun to see the chess match play out here in the second half.
And, of course, the first series of the game belongs to the Noles. That's down right. 7. That could be big.
It could be. I think E.J. Manuel, much the same way that Taj Boyd took the ball in the first half, went right down in 5 plays and put a touchdown up on the board. I think you're going to try to see Manuel start off with that same hot hand here.
So away we go. And it's fielded at the 4-yard line. Big hole to the 30-yard line. And a penalty flag comes flying. Fine return by Joyner, his best of the night, actually, but maybe there was an illegal block in there. Let's see.
Joyner return, holding. Number 70, the receiving team, 10 yards to spot the foul, first down.
So Manuel opens up under center with Pryor and Thompson. Pryor leads the way, and Thompson is slammed down by Jonathan Meeks. As we take a look at the Pacific Life game summary, we want to compare the two quarterbacks.
Well, and when you take a look at what they've done, it's a pretty good start. First half numbers, you can see they're not missing on a lot. Really, both guys making good decisions, not just throwing the football, but the decision making, checking down, when to run, when to be able to avoid pressure, not throwing the ball at this point into coverage. If they can maintain that, it's going to be hard for these defenses to stop them.
3 linemen down for Clemson, and a first dropped. The youngster Greg Dent had a first down. And let it slip away.
There are going to be plays when we get done, and we're starting to do some post-game coverage that we're going to look back on, whether they're dropped passes, whether they're turnovers or missed field goals. It's missed opportunities. That's a first down, and now they're facing a 3rd and 7. See if E.J. Manuel can bail out Greg Dent here.
Remember, in the first quarter, Manuel hurt Clemson as a runner. This is 3rd and 7.
Man coverage.
E.J. looking downfield, and first down. Snapped it off beautifully that time to Rashad Green.
They're bringing pressure. You can see it. I'm sure E.J. Manuel knew the pressure was coming off to his right there. He sits in there, waits just long enough, and eventually finds Green. He'll take this matchup. Green's his best go-to man when he's in matched up man-to-man coverage against Breland, the young corner. Nice job of getting that separation. A good throw. Good timing.
Kevin Hapley, a tight end, wearing number 33. He transferred from Penn State. He checks in the Noles, and E.J. keeps it on the play fake, and incomplete. Rodney Smith was the intended target, and it's incomplete, and it will be 2nd down and 10. As you know, players like Hapley were afforded the opportunity. They became free agents. Now, Florida State did not go up to Penn State looking for him. They had recruited him out of high school. And when he called and inquired, they had the last scholarship available. And they brought down the young man from New Jersey, and he's one of Coach Fisher's tight ends.
It's one of the adjustments that Jimbo Fisher has made. The 2 tight ends set back-to-back plays now. They've been playing a lot of 3 receiver. Now they're coming out here in the first half playing with 2 tight ends.
2nd down and 10. They run the toss play. Here comes Thompson. First out of bounds at the 31 as we check in down below with Heather Cox.
Well, Brett, remember, this Florida State defense gave up just 3 points in 3 games total before tonight. Obviously, different level of competition, but Jimbo Fisher was quick to talk about defensive adjustments. He said we've got to do a much better job being disciplined in our passing lanes. We've got to have better leverage on the ball, and we must settle down our pass rush. They also want more poise on special teams, and guys, just an injury note. Defensive end Bjorn Warner, who hurt his left hand at the end of the first half, is good to return. A good thing considering he leads the nation in sacks for the Seminoles.
3rd down and 8 coming up for the Noles right now. Pocket holds, fires, incomplete. Just a touch high for Shaw, and he couldn't pull it down.
It's one of the few throws that we've seen E.J. Manuel miss. Again, third down, what's he seeing? He's seeing man coverage. A lot of crossing routes. This time it's third and long. They're deeper crossing routes that take longer to develop. The line did their job in giving him time. He just threw that ball. It sailed on him a bit, and it's a little bit high.
Brent Venables working with Anthony and Willard, two of his linebackers, as they came off the field. Now Sammy Watkins is back to attempt another return here of a punt. He'll let this one bounce, and it'll go out of bounds at about the 33-yard line. Well, our beautiful aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, and everything Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. That quick strike touchdown by Clemson sort of took this huge crowd out of the game, and they've just been waiting to climb back in with the lead.
I don't want to jinx Clemson and Taj Boyd. You and I were talking at halftime how he's in command of this offense. How many penalties Clemson had in that first half? 0. They didn't turn the ball over. They're playing smart on the road.
No false starts. Very impressive. And it's to Watkins. Watkins follows his blocker. Picks up about 4 yards on it. Christian Jones, number 7, making the stop for the Noles.
And this package, I think, has done a lot to be able to slow down the Florida State defensive line. Again, if you're just joining us, a lot of formations, a lot of different activity going on by the Clemson offense that's making this Florida State defense slow down and have to recognize it.
They're going to run Watkins again and try to sweep him to the outside, and he's short of the first down. Very good defense by Terrence Brooks to push the speedy one out of bounds before he got to the first down marker.
Brooks recognized that. He was fortunate enough to be able to take the right angle. If he would have been just a step behind, or his aiming point just a step behind, that's a first down.
Jerron Brown, one of the receivers. Third down and 2. Boyd can hurt you in short yardage runs sometimes. He keeps it himself. He picks up the first down as he comes across the 45-yard line.
There's that motion again that you have to pay attention to. It freezes you enough. We've seen this tonight, what, maybe 3 or 4 times? And this time I know it's not the same speed. You see Humphreys going in motion, but it distracts you. It makes your eyes have to respect it. And Boyd now runs the football again.
5 wide. Screen to Watkins. Jammed at the point of attack. The Noles jumped all over that one. Tyler Hunter was one of them there. Vince Williams. Second down and long now for Taj Boyd.
Boyd in this Clemson offense not quite going at the same tempo that Dabo saw in the first half.
Ellington is the running back right behind Boyd. Slip screen and a double pass. Watkins got a man wide open. Ellington in a foot race. 20 cut. Touchdown Clemson. Sammy Watkins, a 52-yard pass to the running back Andre Ellington. What a call by Chad Morris.
Look, I mean, they're going to take some shots. You know that coming in. I mean, we heard that all week from Florida State. You know that there's going to be some shots downfield. Sammy Watkins missed the first throw where he had a receiver downfield in Humphreys. They go back to him in a different look this way, and this time Sammy puts it right on the money to the back Ellington.
Catanzaro adds the extra point. This crowd will grow in even quieter. And now, folks, the heat's on number 3. E.J. Manuel has got to start coming up to answer what the Tigers have done here early in the second half. What a scene on the sideline. The head coach, the star, the quarterback, Watkins threw it, and Clemson leading Florida State 28-14 as we continue Dr. Pepper's road to the championships. Ellington tonight has 2 catches of 39, 52 yards and that touchdown. So now the Noles will take a knee and bring it out on the 20-yard line.
What a call by Chad Morris, the offensive coordinator. Man coverage on the outside. The running back is actually manned up with the linebacker. He's right in the middle, Christian Jones. Watch Christian Jones' eyes. They lock in on Sammy Watkins. And while he's looking at Sammy Watkins, Ellington sneaks out of the backfield. And there's Jones trying to catch up with him, number 7. Man-to-man coverage. He had him He lost him because he thought that Sammy Watkins might be running, and Ellington slips out. By the time he realized that Ellington was 15 yards behind him, and Watkins makes a great throw. Look at Dabo. He's fired up.
First down and 10 now for Manuel. Down by 2 touchdowns now. Jets sweep around. And Benjamin cuts to a hole. Benjamin breaks free. The youngster racing for the end zone. Down by the 10-yard line. Willard saves a touchdown on the young man from Belle Glade, Florida. 64 yards for Kelvin Benjamin.
Watch Cameron Irving get downfield. The left tackle blocking. They'll be able to spring him loose. The receivers also really good job of blocking by Green. And then there's speed. Look at this guy. He's 6'5", 242 pounds, running down the sidelines, and eventually Clemson barely catches up to him.
Manuel back in the gun. I believe a penalty flag. It's a false start. Another mistake by the Noles. That's a big 5 yards down here in the red zone.
71 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So there are the problems that Florida State has had here tonight.
We talked about how Clemson is avoiding those for the most part, and Florida State has not been able to avoid them, and here they are playing at home with everything to lose.
There's a handoff to Thompson on the sweep. Penalty flag flying. He's down about the 15-yard line.
Another hold here. It's now Trey Jackson, the right guard.
That would be the 7th penalty, I believe, against the Noles, and not one yet.
Not one.
Against the Tigers.
Yeah.
Pretty remarkable.
To go on the road and win tough conference games, that's how you got to play. Avoid turnovers and avoid penalties. So far, Clemson's been able to do that.
So this becomes a 1st and 25 with the ball brought back to the 26-yard line. They were at the 11. Manuel keeps it. Let me check that. It was Robinson who came over to make that stop.
Brent, when he turned around off of this bootleg, he wasn't even thinking about, I'm going to throw it out in the flat, possibly try to find the fullback. This is a design run. Turn the corner, the defense is committed down, and he shows you that speed in the open field.
I got the ball back to the 9-yard line, and that's important because it becomes 2nd down and 8. Option, pitch, Thompson, end zone, got 7 right back if they had the extra point.
Well, there is nothing prettier than the option play executed the right way. He attacks the defensive end. He makes the defensive end commit to him. Make sure he can't make the tackle on the back. He locks in on Manuel. Manuel flips it out there, and of course there's Lonnie Pryor leading the way with another block and a touchdown. The Noles that time able to overcome those penalties, and they get the touchdown. A big one there after that play by Watkins to Ellington.
Now Dustin Hopkins, the senior kicker, makes this a 7-point game. High. Watkins at the 10-yard line. 15, bursts through a hole. Still going, and he's down at the 35-yard line. You know, we watched this Clemson team, and one of the big changes with them is how much the coaches are earning on that staff. They have the highest salaried assistant in all of football, Chad Morris, making over $1 million. Brent Venables came in. He's making $800,000. And there's Dabo Sweeney, who gave up $300,000 of his own money just to bring in quality assistants. It's made a great difference, Herbie.
Chad Morris is an amazing story. He was coaching high school football down in Texas just about 4 years ago at Lake Travis outside of Austin, winning state titles. Now he's the highest paid assistant in college football.
Taj Boyd, his quarterback, tries to spin free down at the 39-yard line. Picked up a couple of yards on the play. And Carradine, he's a fine defensive lineman, would not let go.
You know, still a long way to go in this game, but you can really see a difference between Taj Boyd in his 2nd year running Chad Morris's offense. You can see the relationship. You can see how quickly they're executing.
Short drop, knocked away. Great defense on the corner over there that time, and that was Waysome.
What a job of not interfering with the receiver and getting his body around and his left hand in the way of the football to knock it away.
Now putting Taj Boyd into a 3rd and 7. Let's see what Chad Morris whistles up here. Crowd suddenly back in it big time. Down by 7.
Keep an eye on the right side of the line.
Boyd gonna take off. Gonna run for the first down. And he is brought down at about the 46-yard line. Christian Jones.
What an amazing job here on 3rd down. Right away, sees an alley, picks it up, steps into it, and there is the difference in Taj Boyd. We mentioned that he dropped the weight, picks up big yards there for a first down.
Back in the pistol. Brings the receiver into the backfield. Runs the option. Pitches it to the outside, and Ellington run out of bounds, and Carradine is over there defending that. I'm going to tell you, number 91, senior from Cincinnati. Herbie, he is a very active defensive end. They lost Brandon Jenkins, but he has stepped into that role, and he's been spectacular.
At a Cincinnati Taft High School and went the junior college route to eventually end up here in Tallahassee. Been very valuable with, of course, the loss of Brandon Jenkins.
Now on a 2nd down, they sweep around. Ellington dives for the first down. You know, one of the things I'm noticing about the Clemson player, very aware of what they have to do to get the first down.
They're really dialed in. I think there's a really, not just with Taj Boyd, there's an understanding of not just the scheme and what they're trying to do, but what the defense is trying to do. As you said, the down and the distance as well.
Florida State was attempting to substitute defensive players. They could not get on the field. That's one of the problems when you play up-tempo offenses like Clemson. There's a reverse to Ellington. He's to the 34. So Chad Morris continues to dial up offbeat plays, continues to come with something he hopes the defense is not looking for.
The different formations, attacking the perimeter, getting the ball to the outside with the speed, the motions, and faking it to the outside and running up the middle with Boyd and Ellington. And then after that, then we're going to fake it up the middle, fake it outside, and sneak somebody behind you for a deep pass.
Now they move Watkins out of the backfield. Taj Boyd backs up, wants to go downfield. Safety valve with Watkins. Incomplete, and it's suddenly 3rd down and long.
Great coverage that time by Nick Waysome downfield. We just talked about all the motions and the different looks, and then they'll sneak somebody downfield. Martavius Bryant was going down the right sideline, and Taj Boyd wanted to go to him. Good coverage by Waysome, forced him to come off of the deep throw, and he had to try to get it underneath, but he didn't have his feet set.
DeAndre Hopkins has been quiet lately. Back in the pistol now is Boyd. Straight back. Trips, keeps his balance. Now slides, outruns a defender, and not going to get the first down, but he saved a loss on that play before Jones wrestles him down. Warner's over there now taking himself out of the game.
Surprised that they don't have a tight end here to help with this right tackle, Timothy. Now he holds up pretty well, but eventually you're going to see Warner fight through there and force Boyd, who does a good job of keeping the play alive, to have to bail out of there. The right side of that line, again on 3rd down, is something you got to try to take care of and protect.
Now they're setting up for a 50-yard field goal here. And again, they get a man late on the field, one of the wingmen. They've already faked one field goal here tonight. Catanzaro coming at you. Got it long enough. Got it up, and it was good. Dabo Swinney celebrating that long field goal by his junior from Greenville, Chandler Catanzaro. (31-21). The lead is 10. So here we go now. Spencer Benton will kick this off, and it'll be fielded at the 1 by Dringer. He's been to kickoff return, and he's got an alley. Coming to the near side, 35, 40, breaks it. He's got one man to beat. Can he split him? And he's wrestled down at the 11-yard line. Joyner with an 89-yard kickoff return.
What an effort here and a perfect time for a big return. The fullback who's in there, Chad Abrams, does a good job, but really, this is just Joyner being an athlete out in space. These are all the years he played backyard football. He gets a nice job of setting up the kicker, and then down the sideline, I thought he might have the speed to take it all the way into the end zone, but Clemson finally catches up to him.
Xavier Brewer, one of their safeties, number 9, was back deep, and now Manuel at the 11-yard line with he picks up about a yard on that, and it's going to be 2nd down and goal. Anthony coming up to make the stop.
Tried that option the last time they had the football, and it was a touchdown. They try to go back to it here into the boundary to the left side. That time Clemson, one too many defenders over there, easily able to sniff it out.
Smith, Rashad Green, 2 of the wideouts for the Noles. Thompson, the running back. Play action. Throws high. Touchdown! The Noles strike. Rashad Green, who fumbled a punt early in this game, comes back with a touchdown of his own.
We've been seeing Clemson with all the activity in the backfield, disguising things, trying to manipulate the eyes of the defense. Well, this time it's E.J. Manuel with some movement in his backfield to catch the Clemson defense's attention, and Green is all by himself in the end zone.
Now Dustin Hopkins. The lead is 3. There's Dabo Sweeney. He played a little NASCAR recently and got a ticket that made the news. Doing a little 63 in a 25 zone, trying to get to a radio show. And so Dabo, he paid the fine. It was over $100, folks. And guess what happened? The policeman got fired, not because he gave Dabo a speeding ticket, but because he posted it on a Gamecock message board, the entire arrest report. So that's our boy Dabo trying to become a NASCAR driver, I guess, on the way to the radio show.
Trying to get to the radio show. You never know, right?
No, you don't. You don't.
Policeman puts it up on a board of the rival team.
He had video of it.
Yeah.
He put up there.
That was a smart move.
Now, see those towels down there? On that sideline for the Noles, they're trying not to give the Clemson sideline across the field a good look at the signals that they've been sending out. And a couple of guys are holding up the towels down there. Manuel snaps it off, complete. And that was to Kenny Shaw.
Playing.
There they are, right there with the towels on the sideline, see? Oh, cover him up. We don't want any lip reading now. See? Nobody can see that.
Oh,
the Herbie's not looking at those. Oh, there we go. You get that, Herbie?
Oh, man. What's the big 3rd down? If you're ever going to pull the towels out, this is the play to pull the towels out for.
Well, it is 3rd down. Noles need 3 here to move the chains. Remember, EJ can hurt you on the move.
Same play.
It was just snapped it to Kenny Shaw, the junior from Orlando, for the 1st down.
Yeah, they're sitting back there. They're picking on these linebackers. If they're sitting in zone, they're just going to try to find the area to be able to find the opening. And Shaw, both Shaw and Green do a good job with these kind of routes. And I know it's not flashy and it's not an 80-yard play, but it's a small plays and an understanding of what you need to do to be in relationship with your quarterback, especially on 3rd and short.
James Wilder checks into that backfield for Florida State. Brian Stork, who's had 16 starts at center, snaps it to Manuel. Wilder releases. He's a good receiver. Underneath with the throw to the 31-yard line. Greg Dent working in that pattern.
Really good job up front. E.J. Manuel had all day to let this play develop, and right now Brent Venables is just sinking back. He did this a lot in the first half, keeping everything in front of him. They don't want to give up the big play, so Manuel sees that there's nobody open downfield, so he comes underneath to a shorter receiver, and Dent has the kind of speed to get upfield after the catch.
Now on 1st and 10 at the Clemson 31-yard line. Thompson, who checked back in, cuts into the middle.
And you see a difference between Thompson. You have Pryor that gets his hands on the ball. Freeman from time to time will run it. We've seen Wilder tonight, who's more the power back. It's a good changeup, and now they go with a fastball here with Florida State. Here they come. Just waiting on the umpire.
Second down and 1. Here's Thompson again. Power breaks free. Still going. Touchdown! Florida State leads. Chris Thompson would not be denied. A penalty flag back by the 15-yard line. Holding, I believe, is the call. It is. This one's coming back.
Penalty for spot the foul. Still second down.
Walking slow, that's Cameron Irving. He's a converted defensive tackle, folks. That's their left tackle. And a little gimpy right now. You got to keep an eye on him.
And again, another mistake here. I think the tight end this time, Nick O'Leary, was the culprit. Another big play. This one comes back. The 8th penalty tonight for Florida State. That one the biggest of the night after to have to take points off the board.
James Wilder still in. Long strike, far side, touchdown! Rodney Smith interfered with it all, and the Noles lead for the first time tonight.
Pass interference against the defense. Penalties declined. Touchdown.
E.J. Manuel has been dinking and dunking all night. After a big penalty and a setback, Rodney Smith, 6'6", 219 pounds. What a throw by E.J. Manuel, right over his shoulder.
Dustin Hopkins. Saturday night in Tallahassee, and our aerial coverage is provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. And tonight, E.J. Manuel has been more driven. A career high 333 yards for E.J. 23 of 31, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions.
It's 73 yards on the ground. Might be a good spot for him again to run the ball.
He's got a 3rd and 3 here. Instead, Thompson for the first down to the 45-yard line, and the Noles are starting to carve up that Tiger defense.
You know, whether it's been Green or Shaw or Thompson or Pryor, they've made a living in this area against this Clemson defense. They've done a really good job, especially on short yardage situations, of being able to find a matchup that they like in man coverage, or in that case, zone coverage, and just finding that bubble and putting the ball on the money.
And the Florida State coaches sense that they can go to power. James Wilder, bigger, stronger back, checks in behind Pryor. Play got him, bolts free, spins loose. Wilder crosses, battles, carries 3 with him. That, folks, is why he was one of the most highly recruited running backs in Florida in the last few years.
You just called for power. You said he's a power back. I think this pretty much tells the story. 1 tackle, 2, and now we're going to bring about 3 or 4 with us all the way down to about the 9-yard line. What an effort there by the young sophomore.
35 yards and some punishment. He's coming, and his teammates are going to congratulate him on his sideline. What a greeting he's getting.
Oh, put the helmet right on the ball, secured the football.
This is dish it out.
Doesn't go down.
Big boy football.
Little stiff arm. He did everything on 1 carry.
Just like Daddy used to do, he's saying. James Wilder was a tough running back. On the far side, 1 man down, Corey Crawford. He's a starter. Buckle it up, young man. They're going to use you again.
We talked about how the D-line might be fatiguing here late. I think the linebackers also having a tough time, whether it's been the pass in coverage or getting off their blocks, and when the guards are coming up to them.
Lonnie Pryor, who can dish out some punishment, is the fullback. There's O'Leary, the tight end. Here he comes again. Pryor leads the block, and Wilder jumps across the 5-yard line.
He's saying my fault there.
It's not the sun they're concerned about. It's lip readers.
Well, what happens when we can hear him? Can't see him, but we can hear him.
Second down and goal. And Manuel is a load too if he keeps it. Wilder, he deserves the touchdown, and he gets it. James Wilder barges in. And Florida State has scored touchdowns on its last 4 possessions.
But watch the 2 guards, Matthias and Jackson, get up to these linebackers. Beautiful, beautiful execution.
What a job by the sophomore running back from Tampa. I mean, that's breaking their will the way he ran. Once down by 14. The Noles now in charge, and watch Pryor, number 24, lead the way. Seal it off. Not much of a hole, but Wilder does the rest. Honoring the Seminole Indians, the only American Indian tribe that never signed a peace treaty with the United States government. Unconquered. And that at night is one of the most beautiful statues around college football. 1st and 10 now for the Seminoles. In complete control. Manuel flares it out to the outside. And the young man Greg Dent finally ripped down on that far side. Take a look at the drive chart here, Herbie, for our last 4.
Well, and especially if you think about what Clemson's done in their last 3 or 4, and then you look at this. It's a completely different half as far as the momentum, as far as the energy of the stadium. Florida State's really playing well on both sides of the football.
First down near midfield. Bobbles a snap, picks it up, fires to the side, got Dent on a completion, broken play, and Dent battles his way to the 37. First down. The handoff inside. Now, of course, with this lead,
it's a combination.
The Noles are pretty content to keep the clock running.
Combination of working clock, and at the same time, you need at least 3 points on this drive if you're Jimbo Fisher. They've missed 2 field goals. They have, even though he's missed a couple, Hopkins happens to be one of the best place kickers in the country. You're going to want to try to work to get it 3 points to be able to get it to a 2-touchdown advantage here. So you want to be conservative and work clock, but you also want to try to continue to get some yardage here to give yourself a chance.
Timeout.
Timeout, Florida State. 30 seconds.
Manuel with a 30-second timeout. Well, Florida State touchdowns with its last 4 possessions. And, you know, Herbie, just when we were kind of wondering about the Noles and saying, hey, they fooled us again, and they couldn't show up in a big game. And what a second half they have had here. They have shown us why they were a big favorite coming into this game.
They were down 21-14 at half, and Clemson was doing everything right. Taj Boyd was doing a great job. Then they're down 31-21, and you're right, the crowd was dead, but the adjustments, we talked about it at halftime. Who's going to make the adjustments to put their team to have a chance to win the game? And Mark Stoops has done that on defense, and also Jimbo Fisher did some great things to be able to isolate some of his skill, and his offensive line has really taken over up front.
Second down and 10 now. And you can see Stork IDing the defense. Flash it in underneath, and Wilder finally pushed out of bounds just shy of the 20-yard line.
It's nice to see Wilder, who came in with so many accolades and so much attention. And last year just kind of worked his way into a position that was going to be a fullback, or was he going to be a linebacker or a running back? And he has settled in to be a running back along with Thompson and Freeman. And tonight's one of his best games of his young career.
Now the right tackle blocking on that play is from Manchester, England. Name is Watson, and he's a very interesting story. Handoff to Wilder, who moves in behind number 71, who is helping clear the way over there. Watson for a time, as Wilder, you just can't bring him down.
He's not
Watson,
going down.
for a time, was a basketball player at Marist. And then took up football, and he went the JC route. And they have him starting here in Tallahassee at right tackle. They have offensive linemen from England, Switzerland, and the outstanding defensive lineman from Berlin, Germany. When it comes to recruiting, Jimbo Fisher is all over the world, ladies and gentlemen. First down now. That's O'Leary, the H-back. Fumble! Snap is fumbled. Clemson tried to dig it out. They signal they've got it, and they do. Now, the offense must take advantage of this, the second Knowles turnover of the game. They must jump to it on this time.
Yeah, I don't know if Stork even got the ball up to Manuel. I don't think Manuel ever had his hands on the football. They've been doing quite a few shotgun snaps, and the last few he's been under center. The ball never got up. Manuel never had a chance, and once that ball bounced off Manuel's hands and back down, and off his leg, actually, it went right towards the Clemson defenders, and they had the awareness to pick that ball up. Now remember, Clemson, these last 3 drives, they haven't been able to do anything. Let's see what Chad Morris comes up with here. See if they get a double move and try to get the ball thrown downfield.
Not as much motion. Here it comes finally. Watkins on the jet sweep. And ready for it was Werner from Berlin. This young man has an NFL future.
Keep in mind that Werner's taking on a blocker and then has to have the speed to get out there. The man on the outside there, this defense working as a group. Vince Williams, who went out with an injury, fought off a block and didn't allow Sammy Watkins to get around him, and then Werner came to the inside.
Boyd looking for a deep man, couldn't find him. Throws, intercepted, picked off. The 30, Watkins tries to rip it out. There's a penalty flag. Waysome, who's had a heck of a game. Nick Waysome from Groveland, Florida, makes the interception.
67 on the offense, downfield, penalties decline, first down.
It's the first time tonight that we've seen Taj Boyd get impatient and force the football. This is reminiscent to the late in the year last year. Instead of just trying to take off and pick up some yards, that play didn't have a chance. And, you know, he's down late in the ball game. He's trying to make something happen. But if Waysome didn't come up with that interception, there's a pretty good chance that LaMarcus Joyner would have.
Chris Thompson is the running back, prior the fullback for E.J. Manuel. E.J. with a career night, 380 yards passing. Hands to Thompson, daylight on the left side. 15, end zone ahead. The killer. The Knowles are for real. 27 yards.
It's taking advantage of an opportunity and not wasting any time. Boyd throws the interception. Thompson shows you the kind of acceleration he has. And guess who? Lonnie Pryor with a huge kick-out block to open that running lane up for Chris Thompson.
Dustin Hopkins will attempt the extra point. There is a flag down on the field here. We'll get that straightened out with our ACC crew. Is another 12 men on the field?
Yeah. Can't take it on the kickoffs. Looks like it's what he's talking about. It's probably just decline.
Illegal substitution, 12 men in the defense formation, penalties decline, we'll play the try.
Now we're going to have to revisit a memory that Dabo Swinney was hoping I would not mention. But the last time Clemson moved to the big stage was the Orange Bowl, the Discover Orange Bowl last year, and West Virginia hung a 70 on it. They thought they'd remedied that. And now here tonight in a comeback game, Florida State has put 49 on them.
Wason comes up with this huge interception. And this offense from Florida State really feeling that they had a chance to put it away. Watch Pryor's block 24, kicks out, takes his man away, and there's the speed and acceleration from Thompson. He's over 100 yards on the night.
You know, the trivia question here in the stadium, it was a multiple choice. Who quarterbacked the 1954 Florida State Seminoles? And the answer was Lee Corso.
Yeah, he
pretty good defensive back.
He was. He had a bunch of interceptions.
Yeah.
In fact, I think he had the school record for a number of years until Deion Sanders, I think, tied him. He didn't get the lead on it, but he tied him.
He did tie him.
And Lee played, of course, with Burt Reynolds back in that era.
2nd down and 10. Taj Boyd going downfield, complete. Beautiful pass. And Ford, the tight end who was once a wide receiver, crosses the 30-yard line. What a pretty play that was.
Well, they hit a touchdown on this call where it's a wheel route where they try to flood the zone and get the defense to pay attention to some of the receivers. This time it's Hopkins, so he cuts out and then he cuts down the sideline, and the defense lost him again in coverage.
That's 40 yards downfield. And they ride Ellington. And he comes across the 25-yard line, and Smith making the stop.
And if I'm a Clemson fan, obviously it's going to be hard to see them have a chance to come back and win this game. But it's so early in the season, and I can just hear some of their fans thinking, there we go again, same old Clemson. You want to see them fight to the end and show some backbone here after the way this second half has gone.
Taj Boyd's doing just that. That one's incomplete to Ford. One of the things, Herbie, that bears repeating. The offensive and defensive lines on this Clemson team are very young and very inexperienced. And in a game like this, where you're playing, that makes a huge, huge difference. Now, what Sweeney and the coaching staff have to do is not allow this loss to become a second and a third loss like they spiraled downhill at the end of last season. They've got to regain it, win some games to get back on track. This is still a very attractive football team, and one with a lot of very good players on it. Now Boyd back in the pocket. Man covered. Picks up the first down.
Well, that's where a guy like Taj Boyd, he took a big hit there. I hope he's all right. Linebacker and safety. Ooh, looks like he got a helmet hit there, helmet to helmet, but also before that collision, it's like somebody may have stepped on his foot. In fact, he's kind of limping there.
They're going to take him off.
Yeah.
So he's going to go out of the field, and his backup quarterback is Cole Stout. And Stout rides the running back on that first carry, and Vince Williams just jumped all over him. And Taj Boyd said, that's enough of that. I'm fine.
Well, you talked about how they can't let this game maybe affect them down the road and spiral the way they did a year ago. That's where, you know, they're young in some areas, but they also have some veterans. And Taj Boyd has got to make sure that his leadership and Andre Ellington and some of these guys don't let that happen.
Watkins bursts into the middle. Crosses the 5.
Nice wrinkle that they have in this offense where he's so often in the jet sweep. And you get so concerned about Ellington, but they've got a couple extra backs back there to help block. And again, with the speed that you see from Sammy Watkins, he doesn't need a lot of room to be able to get by the second and even into the third level of a defense.
15 yards for Watkins. Ellington runs into a dark hole. There's no daylight.
It'd be hard for them to run the football in here, just going up into the middle. They're going to have to get their jet sweep stuff and maybe even a play action here to try to get Taj Boyd a chance to throw the ball out on the outside.
They hit the box, and Taj is going to do that. Deflected. Incomplete. Brown, the intended target in the end zone. The ball was deflected away, and it will be 3rd and goal.
The last thing you want to do against this Florida State defense is play the game in a phone booth. You want to try to stretch them out as much as you can. And when Clemson has had success tonight, that's what they've done. And then when they've done that, they've won one-on-one battles with their backs and their receivers against the Florida State skill.
Spins. Not going to make it. And Vince Williams.
How about Carradine coming off the edge against Brandon Thomas? Well, he has such a big role in this defense with Brandon Jenkins out for the year, lining up on the opposite side of Warner. And poor Brandon Thomas that time did not have a chance against Carradine.
Well, if we take a look at the defense here, Herbie, of the Noles.
Yeah, I think there's been some adjustments. Like I said, give Mark Stoops a lot of credit for mixing things up, but I think he motivated them. If nothing else, I think he went at halftime and challenged their manhood a little bit because they look like a different team. They look like the defense we're anticipating seeing, creating turnovers, winning the battle up front, much better coverage, confusing Clemson, where it was Clemson that was confusing the Florida State defense in the first half.
And he's still coaching away.
Oh, yeah.
You see him down there?
Yeah.
He does not want to give up this touchdown on 4th and goal. I mean, look at this man. 49-31's the lead. Ellington in motion. Boyd rolls right, going to throw back. Oh, touchdown, tight end Brandon Ford. His 2nd touchdown grab of the night. One for pride for Clemson.
Crazy thing there, Brent. Terrence Brooks actually read the play.
Yeah, he did.
A little delay there where, like Clemson does, they roll one way, try to make you fall asleep on the backside. The tight end just acted like he was confused. I'm not into play. I'm just going to stand here. And then he went out for the pass. Brooks was there. He just wasn't able to go up and knock it down.
Taj Boyd and Clemson going to go for 2 here. Put it on the 10. High snap. They weren't ready for it. It was over Ellington's head. And he has to go down on it. Well, the good hands people are out for Florida State because they know what's coming. Onside kick. And it is brought down by the Noles with a penalty. Let me see if it went 10 yards here. Let me see what this call is.
The guy might have got a little bit of an early start for Clemson.
It's the kicking team. 5 yards from the end of the kick. 1st down.
Penalty flags come flying as the center decided that he was going to keep that one himself. It's the old hidden ball trick, and Brian Stork.
Please reset the game clock to 2 minutes, 11 seconds.
Here we go now. Give me the football.
Well, you called a trick play. We played your trick play. What year was that, 88?
88, the old fumble rooster. I can't believe that. As I recall, the ball was down at about the 33-yard line. They were punting out when that was what shocked everybody about that call. And then Butler, who got the handoff, took it from the up back. Had a great career with the Green Bay Packers. Great football player. Well, Florida State proved it here in the 2nd half. They were under the gun, and the Noles first time scoring 49 plus at an ACC game in consecutive weeks. Remember, they beat Wake Forest 52-0. But at the end of the first half, you wondered a little bit about them, and of course another piece of magic disappeared for Clemson tonight, and Heather Cox in the Clemson release. They pointed out that when she was on the sideline, they were 4-0, and they even won a basketball game to go 5-0. So they thought that was all they needed tonight. We'll have to ask Heather what happened to that magic. Hey, Heather, what happened to your Clemson
I'm feeling
magic?
a ton of pressure, guys. Can you believe how superstitious the coaches are? Coach Sweeney even told me he'd give me the game ball if they won. But, until I can kick a game-winning field goal or throw a last-second touchdown, I can't take any credit, and certainly I have nothing to do with it, obviously.
Well,
she's going to have to run laps after tonight's game.
Yeah, Clemson using up. Of course, this, you know, there is some talk that I guess I want to start it, okay? As you know, Matt Barkley stumbled last week, and in watching E.J. Manuel today, the Davey O'Brien, the quarterback award, this was the quarterback showdown game for that particular piece of hardware with Boyd versus Manuel. But I'd like to throw Manuel out there right now as one of the dark horses for the Heisman. Now, I know the youngster, Geno's up in West Virginia. Smith is probably the leader, according to him. But I'm going to tell you something. This is a Heisman performance here tonight.
Well, the other thing about the Heisman Trophy is it typically goes to a guy whose team is going to be in the top 5 of the country, and you're putting up numbers. If they avoid upsets, his name's going to be out there quite a bit. Florida State's going to be heavily favored, maybe by 10 points or more the rest of the way until they get to Florida at the end of the year. But in conference play, they're going to be heavily favored. Even the game at Virginia Tech, they're going to be favored. So Manuel's going to have his chances, without a doubt.
They're taking dead aim now. They're going to be in the conversation about the BCS championship as long as they stay unbeaten. There's no question about that. Oklahoma will drop out of it for the time being. There he goes. There goes Manuel. Come on, EJ.
Stadium bounds. Let's talk about Jimbo Fisher, because the baton was handed to him from Bobby Bowden. He's been recruiting great. It was a little bit of a kind of a difficult transition period. Even some of the former players weren't necessarily happy with the way Bobby had to leave. Jimbo needed a win like this. This is a team that is his team. The fan base has bought into him being the head coach, but he still needed this kind of landmark win to show that Florida State is capable of winning big games.
You talked about numbers, Herbie. Emmanuel, career high 380 passing. He's also rushed for over 100 yards in this game, okay?
Pretty good.
And there's a formation that the coaching staff wanted to see, the victory formation. (49-37). Some are enjoying that final score more than others. Two coaches out there at midfield. Let's go down to Heather Cox with the winning coach. Heather.
Jimbo, congratulations. How on earth did you guys orchestrate that offensive explosion in the second half?
Our kids and our coaches. Our assistant coaches did a tremendous job of getting our guys ready at halftime. Our kids, there's a lot of character in these kids. There's a lot of heart. We got a great group of kids, and I'm blessed to be able to coach those guys and coach with those guys.
And it wasn't easy for the first 3 quarters. You didn't take a lead till late in the third quarter. How did you keep this team believing?
Well, I think we've been through this situation a little bit last year, and we told ourselves we knew it was going to be tough. Things you remember in life are always tough. You got to keep fighting. That's the way we practice. That's the way we play. It's the way we think.
How can a win like this make you guys continue to believe and keep that momentum going?
Well, I think it builds confidence. But right now, what we got to do is enjoy this one, then forget it, get ready for a great South Florida team next week.
Fans certainly enjoyed it as well with firecrackers. Thanks so much, Coach.
Heather, the fireworks exploding here. And Herbie, final thought on what we witnessed here tonight.
Well, again, I thought Florida State down early, down at one point 31-21, showed a lot of maturity, a lot of poise. I think they really got a win, a landmark win for the program. And I think they showed the nation that they are a team to look out for this year and a legitimate top 5 program.
Let's go down to Heather now with E.J. Manuel.
E.J., congratulations on a career performance. Now, since August, you've heard people questioning whether or not you guys deserve your rankings, whether or not you could win this game. What kind of statement does this make?
It's just the next game. We wanted to come out. We prepared well all week. We knew they were going to be a great opponent. Great defense, great offense. We knew we got to score a lot of points. All glory goes to God. I'm just so happy right now for my teammates.
And an entirely different offense in the second half. What did you guys say to each other in the locker room to turn it around?
Well, we just knew we had to keep scoring points and help our defense out. Those guys, they can throw up 50 points easily, you know what I mean? So as an offense, we knew we had to go out there, take the initiative and score points, and defense played lights out in the second half.
Now, you have said that you want to be Brent and Herbie and join them in the booth. They just talked about you possibly in the Heisman race. How would you respond if you were up in the booth there with them?
I don't know. I just want to win games for my teammates. I'm not really about personal accolades and things like that. If it comes, it does. But if not, I just want to win and leave a legacy here at Florida State for our fans.
Enjoy this win. Thanks, CJ.
Our final score, 49-37. I want to thank you for watching ESPN on ABC. ESPN, the home of the Discover BCS National Championship game. For Kirk Herbstreit and Heather Cox, we sure enjoyed being with you tonight.